Skynexx sponsored beats.
And here we have the setup. We've got a black car, deck lid, sectioned off into 3 sections. What I want to do is use a clay bar here, a magic eraser here, and leave this section alone. Why do I want to do that? Because what I want to do is create abrasions and scratches in 3 different ways in which to test black light out. So as a disclaimer, I already know that this car does not have many paint contaminants on it. So that will not be the purpose of using the clay bar. The clay bar will abrade your paint regardless of how much clay lube you use. I don't care what the manufacturers say, it's gonna do something that you don't want done to it, but that's where the trade-off is. So this is me just creating different forms, different grades of scratches and abrasions in which to test the product out with. So let's go into section number 1. This is a brand new clay bar by, coincidentally, wait for it, Chemical Guys. Section number 1. I've got my clay lube, I've got my Chemical Guys brand new clay bar. Spray the clay lube and let's start claying it. And basically, when you are claying paint, you listen for some very disturbing noises, which you will hear, and you use it until you stop hearing those very disturbing noises. What you're trying to do is remove any surface bonded contaminants, but really what I'm trying to do is really abrade this paint so that we can then come in with the polish and see what happens with the polish. Now I have a very silky, smooth paint. I hear no noises and it's flowing very easily back and forth. Wipe it up and then we'll proceed to section number 2. This time around, I'm going to use my rubbing alcohol and distilled water blend. Why? Because I really want to create a braided surface, hence the magic eraser. It's very effective as a cleaning tool, but if you rub long enough or hard enough, it will absolutely abrade your paint. I don't know how much it's abrading right now. We'll find out when I dry it off. But once again, I'm trying to create 3 different areas of which to test this product. So let me go back and forth a few times and make sure I do sufficient enough of damage to this car that I can then correct. Here we have section number 1, folks. You can see plenty of scratches. I'm gonna move this LED light that is above it in different distances, further away to closer away, so you can see all the more isolated, deeper scratches, as well as an overall just scratched up effect. Section 2 has lots of scratches. You can see that the magic eraser certainly does abrade, scratch up, use whatever term that makes sense in your brain, but it does some damage. Then we have section 3, which is just traditional wash scratch, just normal maintenance. You can see some of the deeper scratches, what's called RIDs, random isolated deep scratches. You can see that there. So there's our 3 test panels. For our first demo, I'm going to use black light exactly as the directions indicate. Not only am I going to do that, I'm going to take it a couple steps further. I'm going to use the exact pad from Chemical Guys that they sell. This is their fine finishing pad, which is what the directions indicate. And I'm also going to use the buffer that Chemical Guys sell. So in fairness to Chemical Guys, and oh yeah, did I add the disclaimer that I really like a lot of their products? I'm trying to keep it as fair as possible, while at the same time showing just how poorly labeled this product is. In fact, it's probably one of the worst cases I've ever seen of poor labeling on a product. Oop, got a little squirt there. That's how I'm going to prime my pad. I don't overthink the priming process. That's a video for 1,000 other times. So section number 1. Now, what I also find ironic is a couple things. Something I find very ironic is here we have Chemical Guys stuff. Buffer, pad, blacklight polish, or I misspoke. I don't know what it is. Blacklight product. It says, do not use on a speed greater than 4. Well, their very buffer, it's digital. So you don't even know it's the non-traditional way. Most buffers can be dialed to a specific number from 1 to 6 as a rule. This is digital. So the first setting is 15, then it goes to 30, and I think it goes in increments of 15. So I don't even know what a setting 4 would be on this. Want to know something totally ironic about this moment? Once again, so much confusion. It makes my head want to explode. It says very specifically on this, do not use greater than a speed setting of 4. Well, their own buffer is not configured that way because it's a digital buffer. So the very lowest setting is 15, a digital number of 15. I don't know what speed that is. That's just the lowest setting. And then you can ratchet it up with a plus or minus sign. So if I want to go up, I plus it and it will go in increments of 5. The max speed is 40. The lowest speed is 15. 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. I don't know what speed number 4 is in relation to most other buffers. So correct me if I'm wrong. I find that a little ironic. Life is filled with ironies, right? Okay, we have test section number 1, and I'd like to thank our cameraman today, which is Sean of Blue Tech Mobile Detailing. Also, thank you, Sean, for the use of your car. I primed my pad, which I really didn't prime the pad at all. I just applied some product called BlackLight. I'm going to, I don't know, because like I said, it's ironic. I really don't know what a speed setting of 4 is, so I'm going to just guesstimate and go with a speed setting of 30, which is greater than 15 at which it starts, but less than 40, which is the max. So you turn it on and then you dial it up with a plus or minus. I went in the traditional horizontal vertical pattern that is very common with most polishing peoples and videos, and I must say it wipes off incredibly easy. So let's check out and see what the results are. I can tell just by looking at it that it has enhanced the paint. In many ways we have success because it enhanced the paint. And many of you, especially for the average car owner, they might consider this the sharpest, wettest look that they've ever seen. Not in my world, because I have a scrutinizing eye. So let's look at under the LED lights and see exactly what it did. So here we are, and honestly, I'm impressed. Did it remove all those scratches? No. As a professional, I had no expectations that it would. Nothing on the label indicated that it was a true compound or polish capable of removing deeper scratches, but it did create a nice gloss, added depth to it, added better reflective qualities to it. Honestly, I'd give it a thumbs up. So let's just call it quits at that. You can go away with this information and decide if that's a product worthy of your hard-earned dollars. Now we're going to go on to section number 2. I'm going to reapply some BlackLight because I have already primed the pad by using it one time. It's going to take very little polish the second time. And I'm going to go in at the same speed setting of 30, which I don't know what that actually means, but that's what I'm going to do. Time to remove. Once again, it's one of the easiest products I have found to remove. And I'm looking at it without the scrutiny of the LED light, and it looks like it appears to have removed the abrasions that were introduced by the magic eraser. Well, let's scrutinize it with the LEDs. I don't know why I said that plural, because it's just LED. So check that out. Actually did pretty darn good. I'm impressed. Once again, I'm gonna give it a thumbs up. Chemical Guys. It removed the abrasions that were introduced by the magic eraser. Of course, it's far from perfect. You can see all the deeper scratches. It's far from flawless, but I will have to say I'm very impressed. With that said, is Chemical Guys, perhaps if you labeled it better with terminology that people understand, that's not filled with ambiguous terms and theatrics, that you might sell more products. Because as a professional, I would never reach for this product because it doesn't tell me what it will do. do. But when I test it here, I'm impressed with the results. But nothing about the labeling suggests that it's capable of doing this because the terminology is just so ambiguous, other than, yes, it creates some shine. Okay, cool. It creates some shine. But there's 100,000 products that will create some shine. Anyhow, that's just my 2 cents. And we have test panel number 3. I added a little more Blacklight. Gonna dial it back up to 30 and see what happens.
Skynexx.
Gonna remove the product, scrutinize it with the LED light. Based on our previous panels, which were far more abraded and damaged, yes, it's what I expected, which once again, thumbs up. I'm impressed. Far from perfect, far from flawless, but it enhanced the paint much more than I would suspect based on the packaging. Thumbs up. Change of plan, guys, because this video ended up being longer than I anticipated. What I'm going to do is I'm going to break this down into 3 videos, not 1, not 2, but 3 for the price of 1. So now you can see what Blacklight is capable of, which once again, thumbs up. Like I said, I like Chemical Guys stuff. Really frustrates me how they decide to label and package their products and how they oversaturate with endless products. Tune into part 3, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this product that was labeled so massively poorly, and I'm gonna show you how you can finesse it and tweak it with the right pads, the right pressure, speeds. Basically, I'm gonna break all the rules according to the directions on this, and I'm gonna show you some better results. So hopefully we'll see you in part 3.